Welcome to Foreign Talk, exclusively from IMN. Today, we are very pleased to have with us top commander of U.S. forces in the Middle East, General Joseph Votel. Mr. General, welcome to our interview.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. We're very grateful. Can you please put us in what you think the future is going to be for the American forces, obviously included with the coalition forces in Iraq?
Sure. Let me just begin by telling you how proud we are of this relationship that we have with the Iraqi security forces. As you're aware, we have been operating in the U.S. as part of the coalition since 2014 at the invitation of the government of Iraq, and we have been focused on our sole mission of the defeat of ISIS. And during that time, we've worked very closely with the Iraqi security forces who have carried the burden of the fight quite effectively. Our focus in the beginning was on the defeat of ISIS, yes, and our focus now remains on the defeat of ISIS. So as we look to the current environment, that is what our mission will remain, and we will look to ensure that we are in a position to continue our advice and assistance and enablement to the Iraqi security forces as they address the remnants of ISIS in Iraq. And we'll also continue to work along with our coalition partners to build the capabilities of the Iraqi security forces to ensure that they can continue to defend the sovereignty of this country as the Iraqi people require.
So what I understand from your talk, sir, that's basically for a future plans. There is plans already in place. You focusing mainly on the training of empowerment of the Iraqi capability, the Iraqi forces capability to defend their own country, correct?
Absolutely.
Because the training is the main focus.
Absolutely. We recognize that Iraq is a sovereign country, yes, and the Iraqi security forces are responsible for providing the security for the country and for the people. And so our job is to help them, and we do that through advising and assisting as they confront this enemy, this common enemy of ISIS. And we also do it through helping develop their capabilities and make them a better, more competent security force.
As far as advice is concerned, there is also different areas of advice, obviously, has been provided to the Iraqi forces. The psychological warfare, also one of the aspects you're tackling with your advice?
Certainly we try to...
But only training as military forces training.
Right.
What do you mean? Can you enlighten us on this, please?
Sure. So, a part of the responsibility of conducting military operations is being able to talk to the people about this and make sure people understand what is happening. We also want to make sure that the enemy understands what is happening. So, communication and addressing the information environment is a very key aspect of our operations, and we are prepared to continue to assist the Iraqi security forces in addressing that part of operations as well.
General, you mentioned talking to the people. What you meant? Which people you talking to? The people, Iraqi people, people in decision making, or what? Or
well,
just general people?
Ultimately, I think we have to. The Iraqi people need to understand what their forces are doing.
Yeah, there is some confusion out there about.
Yeah, that's very important. And yes, of course, we also have the ISIS, for example, operates in the information space as well. So we have to address them as well and make sure they understand the resilience, the capabilities, the strength of the Iraqi security forces as they represent the people.
One of the aspects also you're tackling as the security forces, training the Iraqi forces as far as the border is concerned, because border, as you know, we are unfortunately in very unstable neighborhood in a way. There is Turkish border, there is issues, there is Syrian, obviously the issue is also there. So there is focus on this, and yes, what kind you providing equipment or just training on that matter?
Well, I think we provide a little bit of everything there, but to your point, certainly the sovereignty, the protection of the the state of Iraq has to begin at its borders. And so ensuring that there are competent border security forces that are very capable, that have the right equipment and can operate in these very important areas is a key focus for us. And this is something we have been working with the Iraqi security forces on for some time. And so I think this is a very important aspect that we will continue to address as we move forward together.
Acting Secretary of Defense has emphasized the importance of the Iraqi forces on the ground, and I think he met our Prime Minister. Our Prime Minister emphasized the sovereignty of Iraq and the independence of its own decision on its own, obviously on its own country. As far as this matter concerned, we can't get any help from the American forces or the coalition forces. As far as some of the Turkish forces are unfortunately in Iraq, there is any help from your side to clear that aspect?
Well, as I mentioned to you, our mission is about supporting the Iraqi security forces in defeating ISIS.
Yeah.
So that's the reason that the government of Iraq asked us to come here, and that's what our mission is, and that's what our mission remains. So that is where we are focused here. So I don't envision us stepping outside of the current mission that we have right now, which is the defeat of ISIS.
Defeat of ISIS obviously will spill over, as you well know, I believe, from Syria towards Iraq. As far as your operation in Syria, you taking in consideration the Iraq border and any precautions you're doing that side, obviously?
Absolutely. And one of the things I'm most proud of is the Iraqi security forces have worked very closely with the coalition, and they've worked very closely with the Syrian Democratic Forces, our partners that are on the Syrian side of the border, to address those common concerns along the border. And I think they have worked very, very well together. And I'm hopeful that as we move forward, we'll be able to continue to do that.
So you believe the Iraqi borders are secure for now, from that side?
This is a big border, and it's very remote terrain. So I can't say that it may still be vulnerable to people moving back and forth across it. But what we will continue to do is work with the Iraqi security forces to make sure they have the capabilities and they have the operations on the ground to make sure that they can protect the border.
So basically your message to the Iraqi people that you are here to help the Iraqi people and nothing else, because there is some confusions. The message is not clear for the Iraqi people. This is what we try to clarify to everyone out there. Basically, you are here because the Iraqi government asked you to be here, and you're helping. That's basically it.
That's exactly
clear,
right. So
nothing else.
To be very clear, we recognize that Iraq is a sovereign country. We are here at the request of the government of Iraq, and our mission is to help the Iraqi security forces with the defeat of ISIS. That is our only mission, and that involves advising and assisting them, and it involves training them so they can address this threat. And that's where we are focused, and that's where we intend to continue to be focused.
I just brought this to your attention, General, because there is some confusion after, I believe you are very well know, that President Trump have stated or tweeted a couple of days back that we are here to watch over Iran security things. That's the confusion, and some Iraqis were absolutely concerned that we have been used for that purposes. There is no such things according to the military perspective.
Our mission is defeat ISIS, and that's the reason that the government asked us to come, and that's what we're focused on.
Do you think the picture has changed since August 2018 till now?
Well, I think
on the ground, because you are on the ground.
Well, certainly. So the Iraqi security forces have been very successful against ISIS in Iraq. All of the Iraqi security forces, the army, the police, the CTS, the popular mobilization forces, all have contributed with the support of the coalition in very effectively addressing ISIS on the ground here in Iraq. Some ISIS fighters remain. They have gone to ground. There are small pockets. There may be sleeper cells out there. And so it is very important that we continue to keep pressure on ISIS. And this is what the Iraqi security forces are doing right now very effectively with the help of the coalition. And we will continue to work with them on that. So it is very important to keep pressure on these remnants of ISIS that are out there. They are very dispersed, they are disaggregated, but they are still present, and we have to be concerned about this. On the other side of the border in Syria, as you know, we are completing the fight against the physical caliphate, and we hope that will be done very, very soon. But then in Syria, the Syrian Democratic Forces with the coalition will also have to continue to keep pressure on the remnants of ISIS. So this is a very dangerous organization, and while they have been dealt a heavy blow by the Iraqi security forces and the Syrian Democratic forces, we still have to be concerned about them, and we still have to keep the pressure on them, and that's what we're intending to do.
We'll go, if you kindly allow us, we'll go in more details on the Syrian issues, because it's a great concern also because the impact of that country's security situation on Iraq. After a short break, if you kindly allow us, we'll take a short break and be right back. Please stay with us. General, we spoke earlier about the concern of the Iraqi people as far as the security situation in Syria, because there is great impact on that, unfortunately, that situation, unstable situation on our security. As far as American presence there, we heard, I won't say contradiction, but different statements from the U.S. government. Some of them, they say they will withdraw quickly. Some of them, they will say they will hold for now. Some of them, they will say the Turkish government, Turkish army forces that will take over. There is so much, different opinions out there. Can you please put us on the picture on that matter?
And I appreciate the opportunity to add some clarity to this. So, as you're aware, our president has told us that we will withdraw our forces from Syria.
Yes,
but
sir.
what I want to emphasize to
Yes,
the
sir.
Iraqi people is that we are going to do this very carefully. We are going to do it very deliberately. We are not in a hurry to get out of Syria, and we're not going to depart so quickly that we leave a threat to the Iraqi people or to our partners on the ground in Syria. So, as you're aware, we are continuing to work with our partners on the ground to address ISIS and prevent them from being a threat. We're going to continue to do that, and then we will withdraw our forces very deliberately with great care from Syria. And we are continuing our planning activities with the Syrian Democratic Forces and with all of our coalition partners, to include Turkey, on how we will address the residual threat that ISIS will remain from ISIS. And this is ongoing planning right now, so it's in progress. And but we are very cognizant of making sure that as we conduct our withdrawal, that we don't make the situation worse. And importantly for the Iraqi people, as we do this, we are in constant communications with the Iraqi security forces. So we will do this in a very coordinated and synchronized fashion, and this has been very important. And the object of many of my discussions today with the various Iraqi government and military leaders has been to talk exactly about this.
All right. I just, excuse my questions. I'm just echoing the people's voice. You say withdraw the American forces from Syria. Are these forces coming to Iraq? Or are they going somewhere else? Or depends on the situation, case by case? I don't know.
Some of them may come to Iraq to help with our mission here. Some of them may go to other places in the Middle East, and some of them will go home to the United States, where they came from. So
No decision has been finalized yet.
well, we'll move the forces where they need to go. And but what I think the important point for the Iraqi people to know is that we are serious about continuing our support to the government of Iraq as they have requested.
Yes, sir.
And so we want to make sure that we have the right capabilities, the right forces, the right things here in Iraq to help the Iraqi security forces.
Yes,
And so we'll make sure we'll have the right capabilities. Not all the forces from Syria will stay in Iraq. We will make sure that we have the right capabilities in accordance with the request from the government of Iraq.
So if we move a little bit towards the other borders, that's Iran. The situation with Iran, the Iraqi situation and the Iranian government is very delicate, as you know, the situation here with the people. If there is any military on the Iranian, as you know, it will be impacted on the Iraq. Did you, as a military, did you take any precautions? Any disasters on any other countries in our region will impact on Iraq? So I just putting the people concern out there for you.
Sure.
Has been considered this as a point also?
Yes. So our mission here is the defeat of ISIS.
Yes, sir.
That's the only mission that we have. That's the only mission that the government of Iraq has asked us to assist them with, and that's where we're focused. So we certainly understand the neighborhood, so to speak, here, and understand
it's complicated, unfortunately.
all the aspects of this part of the region, and we respect Iraq's sovereignty here, and that's what we're focused on. We're focused on respecting that and performing the mission that the government of Iraq has asked us to help them with.
Okay, if we kindly move towards another country in our region, that's we're talking about Yemen. There is hope, you think, will be soon that war there will be end, because we heard a couple of voices going up and loud in Washington D.C. asking, demanding to end this war, because basically it's lose-lose situation. As far as the military is concerned, there is any. What's your take on that?
What I would share with you and with the Iraqi people is that the people of Yemen are suffering greatly. There is a humanitarian disaster that is taking place down there. It is because of the war, and it is because of everything that's happening down there. It isn't just the responsibility of one side of the conflict down there. It's the responsibility of everybody involved in the conflict down there. The United States is not a party to that conflict, and so our focus has been on helping the United Nations Special Envoy move forward to try to end the conflict. That is our principal focus. We are also working with other countries in the region to ensure that the violence and conflict in Yemen doesn't spread beyond Yemen. This is very important. So, for example, we do see down there the Houthis with the enablement of Iran, who are attempting to spread violence. This is not in anybody's interest, and that's not a good thing. So we are working with the other countries down there to prevent that violence from spreading. But we are also working in support of the UN Special Envoy to make sure he can achieve peace on the ground.
Thank you very much. We're very grateful for your time. Your schedule is very hectic. If you have a final word for our viewers.
Well, I just want to communicate to the Iraqi people how proud they should be of the Iraqi security forces and the immense sacrifice that they have made over the last several years in reclaiming Iraq for the Iraqi people. And as a coalition, as a U.S. officer and as a coalition commander, we are very, very proud of our relationship with the Iraqi security forces, and we look forward to continuing our mission at the request of the Iraqi government and ensuring that Iraq remains a stable, peaceful country in the region.
Thank you so very much, General.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so very much for watching. That was our interview with the top commander of U.S. forces in the Middle East, General Joseph Votel. Thank you, and see you next time. Very
Thank you.
grateful. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time. Appreciate it.